So this one was very enjoyable in my opinion.
Tipping point.
Yeah, episode 3, tipping point. It was more, Mercedes versus Red Bull shenanigans.
We were back to both the team principals and a little bit of the drivers' mentalities.
Yeah, so right away, did you enjoy Christian Horner's massive rustic Red Bull lawn ornament?
Oh, yeah. My first notes are all around him in his ridiculous English garden with his 2 kids. And he had some some old rusted Red Bull, a bull statue thing in his front yard that his daughter got on at some point.
Do you think that he acquired that, or do you think that was a gift from Dieter Mateschitz?
Yeah, that could have been a gift from a while ago for one of the first wins. But it's just a bull. It has, it's kind of weird.
Rusted Red Bull. It's a Red Bull.
Is it a Red Bull?
I would call it a Red Bull.
Okay. But yeah, of course he's going to have one of those. I bet you it's not there. That was for TV. You know what I'm saying? Do you think it was just in the middle of the grass right there?
I disagree. I think Christian Horner wakes up every morning and he goes to the window in his kitchen with a cup of Joe and he stares at the bull to remind himself what it's all about.
The other thing I loved, so Christian Horner is with the kids and he's got the dandelions for them to blow the seeds off of, the pods, and saying, oh, you got to blow them all off and then you get to make a wish. And by the way, you're not supposed to divulge your wishes or else they won't come true. Everybody knows that. But he gets the kids to say what they wish for. His daughter said she wished for a guinea pig and his son wants a helicopter. Those are to me the most hilarious extremes of your wishes. A helicopter.
And what did you say? No, Max to win the championship? Nobody wished for that?
They're like, that's your wish. It's like, oh, it's a good point.
I was kind of hoping that the daughter would be like, we don't talk about work at home, Daddy.
Right, or be like, no, I like Lewis, Dad.
Yeah, I like Toto. He's
Toto
like,
has
get
the best
room.
hair. Yeah.
Go to your room.
So we got the behind the scenes of Christian Horner, shooting skeet. And,
yeah, that was enjoyable. Next, I made a point to put a note here. We got a little bit of the pit stop practices for the teams.
Right.
That shit was lit.
Yeah,
I mean, that looked
you're talking about when Christian was like, all they do is sit over there and watch us do our pit stop practice.
Yeah, well, I enjoyed watching the team principals standing on the side. They had the stopwatches, and the guys are working their dicks off doing pit stop after pit stop after pit stop, and Horner's 1.98. He's like, if we have a handful of those, that's a race win.
Isn't it ridiculous? I think this was touched on in episode 2. Maybe it was in this one. It was in this one, I think, then, when they machined Bottas's nut.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Ridiculous.
We'll get to that.
It's insane.
Yeah. So I enjoyed
that happened.
The pit stop practice looked like a lot of fun if you're in the pit crew or the guys judging it. Just a good time. Remember they were breaking it down? They were like, run right tire, man, you're a little slow.
Right.
It was we got to speed that up on the corner.
Yeah, I mean,
interesting
it's intense.
stuff.
That's why you need to do those calisthenics.
Yeah.
Ryan, Toto, this
Pumpernickel.
Yeah, this episode also shines even a brighter light on how intense Toto Wolff is. I can't imagine, when Susie's traveling with him, it seems for a lot of this season, he's so intense when they're riding in the boat going to Monaco, and he's bossing the captain around. He's like, pick it up. Now he's like, this is good, this is perfect, and he's bossing everybody around all the time, and he's like, go after that boat, go around this one, and bossing that around. Yeah. Then after they get off the boat, he and Susie Wolff, his wife, hop onto the electric scooters, and he goes, flat out. And he and Susie are going, it's 10 miles an hour on the scooter, but he's yelling flat out.
No, you're right. You bring up a good point. He's constantly barking orders out. He will never relinquish control of a situation, it seems.
Right.
When it's breakfast time, he's not even...
He can't just order, yeah, sure, I'll get a few eggs, however
he's yelling over his shoulder, a couple eggs, tomatoes, cucumbers, pumpernickel,
unbelievable.
This and that, speck, bacon.
He's probably demanding the exact number of salt crystals that go on the tomatoes or something.
It's good to be the king.
The other interesting, following Toto has been probably the most entertaining thing thus far on the first half of season 4. Just getting so much more. We loved when he was working out all the time in season 3, but this year we're getting even deeper dive, and it is intense.
I'm telling you, man, this season is keeping up with the Horners, keeping up with the Wolves.
Yeah. So it was interesting too, Ryan. We've talked a lot. We're getting some good insights into how some of these drivers are and were actually affected by certain things, right? You got that Hamilton moment where he's talking to Toto in the garage and just goes on and on about how much the Baku magic button fucked him in the head. He's like, I've had nightmares still.
Yeah.
I'm still not right after that. Like, I can't believe what happened. You know, it's just like eating him alive.
Yeah, then that's why I love Drive to Survive, is these little morsels of the humanity of the drivers. Like when you really get more in their head, because they don't give you much
canned media stuff. And
they don't give the media anything over the course of the season. Really, it's all more politicking with the media. The media is just weaponized by the drivers and the team principals. But here, you know, hearing Lewis say Baku fucked me up, like that shit hits home.
Yeah. And speaking of getting fucked up, you forget how banged up Max was in Silverstone too.
Yeah.
Like we played that audio where it takes forever and he's just going, oh. And like when because remember that was what we were also thinking after that accident, because he kind of came out and looked like he was sort of had the chicken wing, like we thought he had done major damage to an arm.
Definitely concussed.
He was so knocked out after that. He was a vegetable basically. Like he had 3 guys having to hold him up and just walk him away from it.
Yeah, and also just hearing that audio again after he hits the wall, where he's just like, there's no air in his lungs.
Yeah.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah.
Non sequitur here. One of my bullets just says, Ginger Spice is aging really well. I mean, that woman ages like a fine wine. She looks fantastic.
Yeah, and she's always out and about. She's riding the horses. We're getting a lot of, like you said, keeping up with the Wolves, keeping up with the Horners. We're getting a lot of the full families interacting here. You know, you're getting Susie all over the place. You're getting a lot more Ginger. Ginger was great last year on the phone. We got her on the phone a couple times. Remember when she was calling during testing? Like, hey, hon, how's it going, honey? How's this guy doing? How's that guy? He's like, I'm kind of busy. Got to go.
Yeah. It's fun stuff, though. I enjoy it.
No, I mean, definitely great deeper dives and character studies on a lot of different drivers and team principals thus far, with Toto stealing the show when it comes to his breakfast orders and going flat out on scooters and bossing around ship captains.
Right. Yeah. Let's get back to the machine nut for a second. So, like you said, I remember that happening, but just seeing it again, watching them just machine it over and over again.
Yeah, and we got very cool angles where you saw all the shavings.
Oh yeah,
like coming off.
And it serves as a reminder to how unlucky Bottas was at Mercedes, because he would have gotten P2 in that race.
Yeah, it's insane.
They took it away from him.
Remember when people were trying to say it was even Mercedes and Toto and people throwing him under the bus, saying it was because he didn't hit his marks,
which was a lie.
We're like, that is such bullshit. Like, when you watch so many pit stops, we haven't seen any other nut get machined on, and sometimes these guys blast into the front jack, man. They're way left or right of the marks, and the mechanics have to jump back or jump over, you know?
Right. I have a couple of notes here about, it was cool to see Max's power slide dab again at the finish line in Austria.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then when Lewis was eyeballing the Red Bull and then went back to the Mercedes garage.
They have 4 things here. They have this in the back.
Breaking it down, and then he was even saying like what parts of the diffuser were machined or not. He was like, I could tell it's aluminum there. Like, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Driver espionage, man. Who would have thunk?
Yeah. It was funny.
I never took that stuff seriously. Like when Seb is staring at a car or another driver is staring at a car, I always thought like when they come back with their feedback on the design, the engineers like laugh in their face. They're like, we're the engineers, dude.
Right.
We're the engineers.
Trust me, we have spy guys doing pictures of every angle, of every quality, of all sorts of, like, they're probably already in the process of, they're always like mocking up every component and probably running it through some virtual sim. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
but boy, was I wrong though. Like, Hamilton was breaking down each wind vane and like each slit.
Right.
It was fucking fascinating. I loved it.
Yeah, that was cool to see. Because like you said, it always seems like it's more just the drivers kind of putting on a show when they do the bit where they're walking around and looking at the other people's cars.
It also shows you which drivers, because I guarantee you, not every single driver on the grid could have done what Hamilton just did. Like, go look at a car and come back and be able to convey that information clearly.
Right. I mean, it wasn't like he mentioned one thing. He was breaking down
he did,
little features up and down the
floor,
whole side.
The rear diffuser.
Yeah.
So my point is that just shows you how in tune Hamilton is with the team effort and the car concept and everything. If you ask, a dope like Nikita Mazepin to do something like that, go look at another team's car. Let us know what you find.
Nikita doesn't know anything about his own car, which we'll get into in the next episode.
Like, what the fuck do you think Nikita would say? He would have nothing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's all I had from that, Ryan. It's more and more episodes sort of setting the stage for the epic battle to come.
Right.
Between Lewis and Max and Michael Masi.
Yeah. It was one thing I noted was it was surprising to see how nervous Lewis was about doing the crowd work because of COVID at Silverstone.
Right.
And then also, just want to reiterate, the first 7 corners of Silverstone last year was still because you get to watch it again, still some of the most exciting racing I've seen ever.
It was,
electric.
It was electric. It was like edge of your seat. I mean, legit edge of your seat. People like to say that. I guarantee almost everyone watching that, you were legit on the edge of your seat or your couch. I just remember we were all like, this is lap 1. Every corner they're just going insane, battling each other.
Yes.
Like, this is going to end very quickly and most likely very messily.
Have you ever seen 2 drivers contest every corner? Like, they were literally side by side in each corner for 7 corners straight.
Right.
You don't
back
see
and
that
forth, swapping
often.
Yeah, jockeying for position inside, outside.
It was wild. My last note was I enjoyed Lewis hulking out on the zip ties after the race. When he fucking ripped that panel off the catch fence.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That's pure adrenaline after a win like that.
Yeah, I mean, that was a huge one. I mean, think about it.
It changed the season.
Exactly. He was on a run, or Max was on a run where he was starting to open up a bigger and bigger gap in the driver's standings. Lewis has that epic battle with him. It ends up knocking Max out, which is going to be an intense moment. He wins it in front of his home fans, and there was a lot of, and now he's right back in the championship because that was right before the summer break. Right.
That made, I mean, if that doesn't happen in Silverstone, you don't have anywhere near as close of a battle at the end of the year.
Yeah. All right, Raga, let's move on.